All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are on Ignite session 9, doing capture more leads. We're going to have a great morning covering this. We are wrapping up our section on lead generation. We've talked about generating leads, growing database, capturing leads with open houses, capturing lead with social media. So we're going to talk about systems at work, prospecting and marketing, what it looks like to have a gold mine of referrals, more sources, capturing a lead every day. Then we're going to talk about recap and ahas as well. I love this quote. You love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them. And so this is I would say, a philosophy around lead gen that you need to hold near and dear to your heart, because we do love people and we have to figure out how to love the process, love the journey, love the grind, so to speak. And this is what Gary talks about in Shift. And what I would tell you is, in the market right now, this is very important, right? What's up, Holly? Now I won't just be talking to the screen. You're good. You're good. All right. So we're gonna walk through this. And so your number one job is to find ways to get into the path of motivated buyers and sellers. That seems to be pretty obvious, right? But that is your number one job as an agent. We are in the business of helping buyers and sellers, buyers buy their new home and sellers sell their other home, right? And so let's move this real quick. Spar, where's it at? We're going to put this down here. We've got the two M's of lead generation, right? Message and method. The message is always important, as well as the method. This is something that Jason Abrams talked about this past week at our ALC Summit. The method pretty much generally stays pretty constant. The message is going to change based on the market, what is timely for clients to hear, things like that. So 2 M's of lead generation, message and method. And on the message side, we're going to match the market. Okay. And we're going to have a target audience, and we're going to know our market conditions. Number 2, on the making an offer, we're going to make a direct offer, indirect offer, get a response. Okay. Method, number 1, prospect. 2, market. And then within that, we've got a time block, right? And prepare, take action, and maintain. And those are some big deals when we think about message and method when it comes to lead genning every day. Did I miss something? Wait, go back. Okay. All right, so leads are everywhere. We've got to think about how we approach them, how to connect, and what questions to ask, right? So when we're thinking about lead gen, it doesn't have to be just picking up the phone, even though that's one way. But we have to think about our approach. We have to be committed to approach. Sometimes even in our approach, we have to set ourselves up to do less thinking about it and just more doing. Generally speaking, the hesitation that we have, the doubt, whatever it is that's going on, our approach, if we're not committed to it, we will talk ourselves out of it. Connection is always key, right? How we're going to connect, and then what questions we're going to ask. The best way to navigate this is to have script and role play, to have conversation, to know the contracts, know your market data. When questions come up, you've got an answer. Okay. Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospect and marketing, right? We're thinking about contact sports. Generally, we're thinking about football, we're thinking about hockey, we're thinking about other things. But this is a contact sport in the way of, hey, look, you've got to make contacts. You've got to rub shoulders with people. You have to be interacting with folks in order to get leads. So catching leads, likelihood of a move over time. And so when we look at this, this chart, people move generally every 7 to 10 years. And if we are maintaining our database, we've got people appropriately qualified and appropriately tagged, then we know exactly when to ramp up communication, what kind of touch points we need to have, midpoint, and then ramping up once it gets closer to them moving. So this, knowing that the likelihood of people moving every 7 to 10 years will allow us to have strategies around where people are at. Okay. Prospecting first versus marketing. Marketing is money intensive, passive for long-term results. It's the tip of the pyramid. Prospecting is the foundation of the pyramid. It's time insensitive, meaning you're going to block time for it. It's very proactive and you're going to get more immediate results, right? We need to think about, okay, what's our active business? How do we generate new business? And just generating new business, what does it look like? Is it just marketing? Or are you going to have to do some prospecting for it? And odds are you're going to have to be doing both, but prospecting obviously gets more immediate results. This is what prospecting looks like, phone or face-to-face. I like the face-to-face. Listings without agency. So we're going to talk to FSBOs for sell-by owners, any kind of expired listings. And then you've got circle prospecting, which I think a lot of agents love more than probably calling up FSBOs or expireds. We need to know how to do both, but circle prospecting. So we're going to farm neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold listings, and recently listed properties, community outreach, kind of charity and volunteer work you're doing, key relationships when it comes to businesses, corporations, builders, banks, third-party data companies, investors. Number 5, teaching and speaking opportunities. If you're not comfortable with teaching and speaking, guess what? We've got to get more comfortable. You are the expert. You're the market data go-to person when it comes to your database. So knowing how to teach and speak and then finding those opportunities is huge. Meals, right? Taking meals to people who might, need that. Might be something going on in the world. Door-to-door canvassing, networking events, any kind of booths or kiosk, and then walk-ins. Believe it or not, we get walk-ins to the office looking for an agent. Sometimes being just in the office pays. Okay. All right, marketing. There's a lot here. Offline advertising, radio, TV, newspapers, personal vehicles. I'm sure you've seen people whose cars are wrapped or have that back windshield covered. Bus stop benches, magazines, billboards, yellow pages. I guess that still works. Grocery carts. I've seen that at Kroger. Got all kinds of, I remember growing up in Winchester and I can vividly remember the agent who was on literally every Kroger cart.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Moving vans, right? There are some brokerages out there that have moving vans that have their branding on. And then online advertising. This happens a lot. This is pay-per-click advertising, right? That's something you're probably going to do. SEO, search engine optimization. You're going to work on that. Social media, and then portals. Any kind of online portals where it's lead aggregate and you're getting something there. 3, broadcast content creation, radio segment, TV shows, live social media, blogs and newsletters still work. Direct mail has worked since we had a mail system. Postcard campaigns, special event cards, just sold, just listed cards, quarterly market updates, promotional items and swag. People got their names and stuff on Stanleys and Yetis, right? You're going to have stuff on your shirt. That's marketing. 6, public relations press, any kind of news releases, advice columns, and then sponsorship. You're going to sponsor things. Maybe it's your kid's T-ball team. I don't know. Prospecting plus marketing. This is both. Farming, huge. Farming works. And more agents need to plug this into their lead source and their strategies, because we're going to do geographic farming and demographic farming, right? There's going to be, maybe it's a neighborhood. That's geographic. I'm going to farm my neighborhood. Demographic is, hey, I know a lot about what it's like to be in my mid-30s, have a couple kids. So that is maybe a demographic that I can relate to and get more business from. or just help, right? I want to help people like that. Events, open houses, right? This is low hanging fruit. Seminars, first time home buyer seminar, contests. You might put a contest together, put it on Facebook, client appreciation events. I think every agent should have a client appreciation event at least once a year. Ideally, probably something once a quarter. Networking. We're going to meet and talk and maintain our sphere. We're going to reach out to past clients and check in. Allied resources, who are your partners? Then agent to agent. Then we've got purchase, referral networks, advertising networks, and other clientele. All right, any ahas for you, Holly? No? Okay. Okay. I like that. That's always a good place to start. Okay. Client referrals. Always provide your value. Share your Keller Williams app. That's your white consumer app on your phone. Share market stats and then provide a vetted vendor list to your clients. These are like, hey, this is the best person to shovel all that snow out of your driveway. Hey, this is the best plumber on the off chance you've got frozen pipes or need something done with the plumbing. Provide vetted vendor lists. That is such a big and underrated one. I think more people need to focus on. Ask for referrals. Reward for referrals. Hey, I'm in a competition. I'd like to do this. Winner, the person who gets me the most referrals gets a $50 gift card to Target, right? Thank folks with a handwritten note. Getting client referrals is a big way to maintain your business, build rapport, build some trust, become more relatable, and then reward folks for the referral. Okay. Agent to agent referrals. To me, this is underrated. This is what makes Keller Williams, in my opinion, it gives us a competitive advantage because we have the largest national referral network out there. You need to be meeting people in other markets. You need to be meeting people just down the street. You need to know agents and what they've got, what's coming up, and who they need to talk to. I would even be tracking like where people are moving into Kentucky. And then if people are moving out of Kentucky, where are they going? Right? You're going to grow these relationships. These are going to be relationships you also manage and maintain. Agent to agent referrals, in my mind, are not a high enough lead source for some folks. Shoot, anytime you pick up a listing, if you've got a bunch of agents in your database, guess who you can blast? Here's my new listing. Bring a buyer. Would love to do a deal with you. Then referral network. You have got within command a fantastic referral network that you can hop into this interface. You can search the map. You can search based on production. You can search based on if they're ALC members. You can search based on if they're on a team. You can find the perfect agent and you can interview them. You can add them to your referral network. That's what that My Network spot is. You can just start stacking agents.
So
Right.
you can start taking your client agents using this.
Yeah, you sure can. So let's say you've got a client who's in Central Kentucky and they're like, hey, I'm moving to South Beach. Can you help me find an agent? Well, shoot, you can just look for South Beach on the map, find a great agent who's highly recommended and connect them and then get a referral and vice versa. We also have worldwide referrals. This does happen. We have people moving away internationally and then people moving in to the States internationally. I know that one of our agents was helping a lady from Portugal in the last couple of months. Business to business referrals. This is your vendor setup, right? Who are your partners? Are you getting referrals from your vendors? Are you getting referrals from the home inspectors? Are you getting referrals from the small businesses you support? Well, here's the question. Are you getting referrals from some of the nonprofits or places you volunteer? Right? Business to business referrals is definitely a highlight and a focus that every agent needs to have in mind. Okay. Anything you can take away or implement?
Yes.
Okay.
Using command to find agent referrals and business to business referrals.
That's right. All right. We're blazing through this. Okay, so geographic farming, a collection of homes or neighborhood that an agent chooses to focus their marketing and prospecting efforts. So geographic farming, like I said, is something where maybe, Holly, you want to own your neighborhood. You don't want to see any other agent signs in your neighborhood. You don't want to have to deal with driving past it every day. So you're going to geographically farm your neighborhood. And maybe that's a mailer, maybe that's door to door. However you want to do it, you're going to farm that neighborhood. It also might mean, gosh, there's a higher price point opportunity in 40509, and I'd really love to raise my average sales price. So I'm going to be strategic and I'm going to farm an area where the average sales price is higher and closer to my goal, so I can increase commission, right? So we're going to maximize prospecting and marketing in a geographical farm. We're going to host open houses there in those neighborhoods. We're going to do social media in those neighborhoods. We're going to have more conversations, more contacts, and you're going to keep notes and data and research on that area, right? All right, events and seminars. This is another opportunity. These are things in my mind where you're thinking about, how can I invite a bunch of people and have basically one big appointment with 15 or 20 people. So the best way to have 15 first-time homebuyer appointments is to invite them to a seminar, get a sponsor, get food, right? Maybe do a giveaway and say, hey, I just want to be able to tell you how this works. I've got a lender, they're going to talk to you about all the loan products, what kind of credit you need to have, what documents you need to have ready to go. And we're going to get rocking and rolling. And then you have those seminars. And like I said, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. But you do have to know your stuff. You do have to know the process, and you have to know how to help these people when you host a seminar. And then again, client events. Maybe it's cookies with Santa. Maybe it's a Valentine's thing coming up. Right? But we're going to do events, get people engaged, get the conversation rolling, get in a good light and stay top of mind, and events and seminars help you do that. Because here's the thing, leads are everywhere. You're going to pick up leads at the grocery store. You're going to probably meet leads at the coffee shop or even a repair shop. Hair salon. It's where a lot of chatter happens. It's where a lot of talks go. You're a captive audience, or you have a captive audience, right? That's a good place to be. Dentist office. You're getting your teeth worked on, probably not much talking you can do. But you're going to meet people wherever you go. It's important to understand, like, who can I help wherever I'm at? That's your opportunity when you prospect. Okay. Reminder, we've got KW Cares. Next Gen. All right, any ahas so far this morning? We've blazed through it. You got any questions around capturing more leads and prospecting?
So it is illegal to ask for like, or to share your commission with somebody you're trying to like prospect, right?
Yeah,
But
the only people who get a commission are people who have active real estate license.
But it is okay to like we said, competitions and offer some type of like incentive just for like.
Yeah, you can say, hey, I'm in a competition with another agent at my office on who can get the most referrals today. Whoever I get more referrals from, I can, the winner's gonna get a $50 gift card to Target or something, right? Anything else? Okay. All right, command. And command is obviously your database. It's your CRM. It's going to be your go-to place where you're going to input contacts. You're going to walk your opportunities and transactions through from start to finish. And it's going to help you figure out and maintain your goals. It's an end-to-end cloud platform for completely running your business and even scaling it, right? So this is a lead gen plan that is generally foolproof, right? First of all, this is where everybody generally starts, unless they're brand new to an area. We're going to connect with our sphere. We're going to connect with them by having the forward conversation, right? We're going to call them, we're going to text them, we're going to meet for coffee, and we're going to ask them about their family, their occupation, right? Their job. The R is recreation, what they do for fun, and then D is dreams. And so we're going to connect with our sphere. And it's really just about deepening the relationships we have, making sure they know we care, staying top of mind. And really, I think some of the mistakes that new agents, and even veteran agents, when they don't keep up with it, is they don't tell people in their world that they're an agent and that they can help them. Right? That's a big one. You're going to want to build and feed your database. We got to be thinking, how can we add to our database every day? How do I feed them? What am I doing for them? Am I offering value? Because if all I'm ever asking is for their help or taking from them, then we've got to rethink that relationship because it's more one-sided. We're going to plan open houses. And when we plan an open house, we're going to do it right. We're going to be prepared. And we're going to capture leads from it. And we need to be attached to a certain outcome from open house. Like, what is the goal? Is the goal that, hey, look, I want to get this house that I'm holding an open house for sold. I'm hoping to bring the buyer. So what does that look like? What are your expectations there? Set expectations around your open houses and capture leads from it. Build a community with social media so that you can capture leads. People are pulling in leads off TikTok, off Instagram, off Facebook. You can now, it's almost impossible now to run a business in today's real estate industry without some sort of online or social media presence. Then we're going to execute a referral strategy. That's agent to agent, and that's database to you, the agent, and even vendor. So preferred vendors to you as well. The referral strategy is threefold. Choose a geographic area to focus your door knocking efforts, right? Here's a thought. If you hold an open house, go door knock the neighborhood. Say, hey, I'm hosting an open house this weekend. We'd love to have you drop in, see the home, and provide any kind of feedback. And then maybe even ask them, hey, you're in the neighborhood. What do I need to know? What do I need to know about this community? Then consider events and seminars, which we talked about as well. Okay. Now, let me ask you this, Holly. Out of those 7 things, what do you think you need to be doing? Okay. Okay.
Farming the neighborhood. I'm gonna see so many other people's signs.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So really the answer is all of them, but you can be hyper focused on a couple of them, right? Okay. All right, this is back into the success system where we're going to have 10 conversations a day. We're going to try to add 10 contacts. We're looking at how many handwritten notes we can write. Then we're going to do the 10-5-1 social media engagement, right? 10 likes, 4 interactions, 5 comments and 5 words or more, and then 1 post. How we doing on that schedule? We talked about. Doing all right?
Today.
Okay. All right. All right. And this is your reminder. This is a good philosophy and mindset to have. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Okay. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship. Hard to have a bad conversation when that's what we think, right? All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about on your lead gen strategy, and you talked about geographic farming, right? I want you to write down in your book, what are the top 3 ways this week that you're going to start engaging with your neighborhood. And while you do that, I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee. I know it's a little chilly in here.
Oh, it's pretty stinky.
I don't want you shivering in here. You can't focus if you're shivering. Well, I guess so. I guess that's true. All right, how we doing? Did we get anywhere?
Yes.
What did we put down?
I put weekly newsletters mailed out,
Okay,
Popeyes, dropping off like calendars or keychains. And 3 events, like neighborhood cookouts or sponsor like an Easter egg hunt at the
Yeah.
park in my neighborhood.
yeah, maybe bring out, maybe not right now, but
Yeah.
like maybe summer comes around and you're like, all right, bring out Kona Ice and
Okay.
you can sponsor that or a food truck or whatever. So let's just do this. All right, you're going to the door knock and you are doing some Popeyes. And you're handing out calendars for 25. What's the conversation look like? Okay, you walk up to the home, you knock on the door, what are we saying? Okay,
I live in the neighborhood. I'm in real estate. And just wanted to see if you needed anything, have any real estate needs, I know anybody. I can provide you my vendors list and a calendar for the year.
yeah.
No question.
Yeah, look, here's how I would approach it, right? I'm going around the neighbors, I've got my calendars already ready to go. I'm knocking on the door and I'm saying, hey, so good to see you, I'm Joseph Miller, I live right down the street. I'm a realtor here. I just wanted to get you connected to my 2025 calendar. And wanted to make sure, number one, you knew me. Number two, if there was anything I could ever do for you, my phone number and email are on that. Would be thrilled to help you with anything real estate related, or just keep you up to date on the equity of your home.
Okay.
Right? And then if they have any questions, they're gonna ask you. But come from a place of value. And if you've got a vendor list already in mind, go ahead and give that to them too, right? Like, hey, here's my calendar and my preferred vendor list just on landscaping. And if there's a category I'm missing on that, or somebody you know, I'd love to add them there. Maybe you don't have a gutter guy, but they do.
Okay.
Right? And so come from a place of, okay, hey, this is where we're at. I'm right down the street. I know you're my neighbor, you know all my real estate, and that's a good way to do it. Okay, so prepare your conversation list. So here's my goal for you.
Mhm.
That while, and I think you've done it.
Yeah.
I want you over the next week to talk to 5 of your neighbors,
Okay.
okay? We don't have to blitz the whole neighborhood. I want you to take some steps, get some momentum, and start having more conversations and get better conversation, right? And guess what happens the more times you have the conversation? It becomes more natural, right? And it's not a script, and it can sound more like Holly. So with any good real estate script, you're gonna memorize it. You're gonna internalize it, and then you're gonna customize it to how you talk. Right? And what I can appreciate is, look, it's just, hey, I want to get to know my neighbors, but I also want to help them genuinely. All right, lead generation conversations. We kind of hit that up. All right, here's a question I have. I know you're kind of in a holding pattern,
Right.
but are there 5 to 10 people in your world who, at the second you're ready to go, you're going to start working with or helping or what? I think a few weeks ago, we had a conversation with, was it your boy's barber? Okay,
Yeah, I have about 4 people who are looking to buy this year.
okay. So you got 4 potential buyer clients.
Yes,
Let's write your names down.
I already have command.
Okay, okay.
Alright, y'all
Do you have tags?
I don't know if I have the correct tags, but I have the.
Are they tagged as like buyers?
Yes,
Okay. All right, okay. Do you know their timelines?
12 months.
All of them? Or 12 months? Okay. All right. So you've got a little further out pipeline. And so when we talked about active business, generating new business, prospecting, you're gonna have to start prospecting for some people who are 30 days out, 60 days out, 90 days out, and what that looks like. And then we're gonna create a follow-up plan. And follow-up plans sometimes look a lot like, hey, just want to check in. It would be something called like a DTV2, right? The database times 2, where you just pick out 2 letters in 2 letters of last names for your database, and you start just texting and checking in, or calling and checking in. The other piece is you definitely want to follow up more frequently and have a plan for people who are closer, right, than 12 months. And so follow-up plan can be smart plans, it can be email campaigns, but you need to make sure you're following up with people in your database, right? All right, what can we celebrate? We got any wins? What do you got cooking?
I've been consistent with posting,
Okay,
not as much making videos as I would like to, because
Alright.
I'm still not as comfortable with that, but.
yeah,
I've been pretty consistent with posting on social media, and every single day, I've been doing more than the 5 to 10, like I've been like going out my way on social media. Happy birthdays, everybody who has a
let's
birthday,
go.
commenting.
So
posting.
we are ramping up the social media presence, okay?
Also reaching out to people. I have been having conversations every single day with at least 3 people,
Good,
so.
that's really good.
Thank you.
Great work, Holly. I love it. All right. Who do you know in this office who is going to help you with Command and Connect? Who's your go-to?
Rosemary
Okay, Rosemary, who else though?
and Lexi.
Lexi, those are your gals. Lexi for sure.
Yeah. She helped yesterday.
She's great. So make sure you're connecting and getting help when you need it. Here's my least favorite thing in this office is when people need help and they don't ask for it. I don't know when people need help if they don't ask, right? And so having that conversation and being open and honest about, hey, I need help on this, right? All right, our next session, which will take place in probably another 5 minutes, will be how to keep every lead. All right, and I'll nail that down. All right, you got any ahas before we go? All right, I'm gonna put this on Okay. Well, I think we can get through this. All right. So this is session 11. This is following up with leads. All the magic is in the follow-up, right? Most of your business is going to come from great follow-up. You don't just meet somebody or talk to somebody once and then all of a sudden have this big booming business. It's all about follow-up. It's all about staying in touch. And here's the other piece. Underrated follow-up is keeping in touch with folks after closing. Right? What does that look like? You should have a plan for that. Okay. Okay. All right. The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them. Right? This is a big one. I'm going to repeat that. The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them. A lot of energy, time, and focus and time blocking is how do I go generate leads? You're going to spend equal amount, if not more, in follow-up. What you need to understand is you've got to match the energy on both. Okay. All right. This is what the lead conversion process looks like. And this is an excerpt out of Shift on page 86. Consistently getting every possible appointment from the leads you generate isn't complicated, but it does require preparation, practice, and this is key, purposeful action. It's one thing to be busy. It's another thing to be productive. It's one thing to be in action, and it's another to be in purposeful or intentional action. Like you can be busy all day. It doesn't mean you're getting work done. Right? I've had those days. We all have. And so this is what it looks like. Number one, we're going to capture a lead. We're going to hold an open house. We're going to farm our neighborhood. We're going to make a phone call to an expired. We're going to do a social media post. We're going to capture the lead. And then number two, we're going to connect with that lead. We're going to build rapport. We're going to build relationship. We're going to establish trust. Number three, then we're going to get them to close. And then number four, it's cultivate. Right? And then sometimes we go to 2 to 4 because somebody's not ready to close yet. But that's where we cultivate. And that cultivate piece is follow-up. Right? Continual follow-up. All right, we're going to talk about possible business, probable business, and then making our way into a profitable business. So when it comes to possible business, probable business, and profitable business, the reality is we are going to make these things happen. And we have to start in the possible, move our way closer to probable, and then once we do that, we're going to have a profitable business. It flows that direction. All right, any ahas takeaways so far? Very quick.
So keep following up, the same effort goes
Okay.
into following up as capturing.
Yeah, follow-up's different. And follow-up, in my opinion, is a lot more fun because we're just continuing to build on a relationship we've already established. Okay. So capturing is defined as collecting the minimum amount of valid contact information of a potential buyer or seller. Now, let's talk about minimum amount of valid contact information. What do you think those are? Those,
Phone number,
okay,
email address, and address,
okay. So name,
name.
number, email, address, and you might as well just add birthday in because we're gonna put them on a touch that you're gonna tell them happy birthday. And really the answer is as much information as possible.
Okay.
But you have to have their name, their number, their email, their address. Those are the core four. All right, conversation frameworks. Number one, if I were to need to contact you, what would that number be? So you're going around your neighborhood and you're passing out your vendor list and your calendar and you're having a great conversation, and all of a sudden it gets to the point in the conversation where it's like, all right, this is at the point where we exchange information. And you say, you're handing them the card, and you're saying, if I were to need to contact you, what would that number be? So like, hey, you said you got a gutter guy, would you mind giving me your phone number so I can text and not get, not lose this thought or this conversation? Number two, if I found exactly what you were looking for, how would I contact you? So the conversation might be going well, and they're like, actually, we were thinking about moving and we were thinking about this particular neighborhood. The problem is there's nothing available. Right? That's when you have that conversation. If I found exactly what you were looking for, how would I contact you? Because I'm actually in that neighborhood a lot. I got friends over there. And because my office has about 200 agents, I hear everything that comes on the market before it hits the market. Right? Number three, if I found out that information you were wanting, how would I get it to you? Oh my gosh. I have my calendars here, but I left my vendor sheet at the office. How can I send you my vendor sheet? So it might even be strategic that you leave your vendor sheets at home, give out the calendar and say, oh my gosh, I forgot. I need to get you my list of preferred vendors who can help with anything and everything related to homeownership, right? How can I get that to you? What's your preferred email? All right, connection best practices. Embed your value proposition in the conversation. So as you kind of look through, okay, here's what my buyer presentation looks like. Here's what my listing presentation looks like. That's my value proposition for my business. How do I roll that into conversation? How do I start talking about my value prop as an agent into just casual conversation? Right? You're going to think about that. You're going to internalize it, and then you're going to start role playing and practicing those conversations. Right? Hey, I'm Holly Jones. Welcome to the First Time Homebuyer Seminar. Here's something you need to know about me. For every client who I help close on their brand new home as a first time home buyer, guess what I will do for you? I'm going to throw you a housewarming gift where I'm going to invite my lender, my home inspector. We're going to have tacos, and we're going to invite your friends and family, and we'll have presents, and we're going to warm the house right up first thing, right? That's part of your value proposition. That's going to come into play when you're having conversation, whether it's in a first time home buyer seminar or it's with that first phone call. Know the outcome you want from a conversation before starting it. Use questions to lead the conversation. So the people in the conversation who ask the most questions control the conversation. So you being attached to an outcome of like, hey, I know I'm going to farm my neighborhood, and I know my goal here is to get more contact information. And so I'm going to steer the conversation in a way that I can get their phone number or their email so that I can help them. Right? And so know the outcome you want. And if it's getting contact information and adding them to your database, well, there you go. And then use questions to lead the conversation. What kind of questions would you ask your neighbors? Hey, what's your favorite thing about the neighborhood? Like if there was one thing about the neighborhood you would change, what would that be? Right? What's it been like raising kids here? I noticed that you've got a car seat and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you're going to ask questions. You're going to let them talk. You're going to lead the conversation to a place where you can hand off information to them and they give you their contact information so that you can get it to them. We're thinking about the connection, and these are just best practices in terms of the connection. All right. 6 connection questions. Who are they? All right. Hey, I'm Holly Jones. Just wanted to introduce myself. And generally, if you introduce yourself, they're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm Brian Martin from over here. And this is my wife, Alicia. All right. What do they want or need to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want or need to do it? And how do they plan to do it? It's that whole who, what, where, when, why, and how. Right? These are connection questions. This is how we go deeper. We don't want to just snorkel on the surface. We want to scuba dive. That's our intent with these conversations. Here's how we cultivate. This is also in the shit book on page 105. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do. That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment. I'm going to reread that. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, following up, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do. That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment. So these buyers that you've been talking to that are about a year out, as long as you maintain conversation and reaching out to them and you stay top of mind, come 8 months, they're gonna be like, hey, Holly, we're still close to that 12-month timeline. And we're starting to see some homes we'd like to see. Would you be available? Of course. Right? And that question might come from sending them a happy birthday. All right, close. This is how we can close. When asking for the appointment, which format do you think is most effective? Is it a text message, email, phone call, or in person? Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. It's always in person. In the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet. And if they don't have a good enough reason to meet, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do. You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense or it doesn't. Either way, you both win. Right? This is key. This is very important. Sometimes being attached to the outcome is just having the conversation and having more conversations and talking to more people. All right. What ahas do you have? What takeaways?
Building that connection, just
Okay.
keeping the connection going and strengthening that connection.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing, so that way whenever they are ready, you know, be the one that they come to.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. All right, improve your conversion rate. So here's what a lot of agents in my mind could start doing a better job at. And conversion rate is something that if you're not tracking it, you're not going to know it. And it's not going to influence your activities. So number one, we've got a time block. We've got a time block for lead gen. Whether that's being on the phone, going to the networking event, doing an open house, whatever it is, we're time blocking for the things in our day, in our week, where we are lead generating. Okay, number two, we are going to use the appropriate systems and conversations. Conversations are going to be dialogue that you memorize. It's going to be conversation where you're like, hey, this is a normal, frequent conversation, an FAQ basically when it comes to real estate that I've got to get really good at and then customize to me. Number three, we're going to connect with your whole database. The people 12 months out, the people 30 days out, and the people right in the middle. Okay? Or the people who just moved and are further out than 12 months, right? We're going to connect with the whole database. And then number four, we're going to prioritize qualified leads. That means we're not going to spend day and night following up with the person 12 months out. We're going to maybe talk to them once a month. We're going to check in on them. You know, somebody 30 days out, we're probably talking to every day, every couple days. Right? Your frequency of communication is going to be all based around how you're prioritizing your qualified leads. Take care of your active business, but do enough prospecting to maintain future business. All right, so this is the lead conversion model. Starts right there. Number one, we're going to capture the appropriate information to get a hold of the lead. What's the appropriate information? What's the core four? Yeah, but when you're getting contact information, what are the four things you need?
Phone numbers, birthday, and email address, address.
Yeah, you got all five. Yeah, connect to assess their needs and establish a relationship. How are we going to do that? How are we going to connect with them? We're going to ask those 6 questions of connection, right? Who, what, where, when, and how. Cultivating the relationship. What does that look like?
Follow up, see if anything.
Follow up, follow up, follow up. And then number 4, close by asking for the appointment. It's big. So capture, connect, close, cultivate. Capture, connect, cultivate, close. Capture, connect, close, cultivate. Capture, connect, cultivate, close. You're on that rhythm all the time. Okay? Any ahas from that section? Any questions? Okay. All right. Let's talk through some of these questions because you have come a long way and you've been bought in and you're coming to classes and stuff. So think back to when you just got your license and you were very, very newer than you are now. How has your thinking changed and what ideas or mindsets are new? Okay. Anything less scary?
Talking to people?
Talking to people?
Yeah.
Getting better at it?
Yeah, it's getting a little bit better. Even just talking to others just in the office.
Yes.
I'm a shy person.
Sure. Okay. And that kind of answers what do you feel differently about? What was meaningful for you today?
Being here taking action.
Being here, taking action, having a plan for your neighborhood,
Yeah.
I would say is probably pretty meaningful. Because that's gonna impact not just you, but you got boys, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions are you gonna take? I like this question. Sounds like we've got plans to talk to 5 neighbors in this week. Okay.
We wanna put together, that neighborhood market update.
Okay, neighborhood market update, some sort of newsletter. Okay. Again, 10 conversations, contacts added, handwritten notes, 10-5-1 social media engagement. Another good reminder, I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Okay. So here's what I'd like you to do now. Let's go ahead, open your phone. Go to your favorite social media app, whatever it is, and I want you to do your 10-5-1. Okay, we're gonna do 10 likes, we're gonna make 5 comments. You got 15 minutes to do this. So I'm gonna give you some time, 15 minutes to do your social media interactions. And I will be right back. You good? We feeling good about it? What post did we make?
Posted about my contractor, United Contractor.
Let's go. Good.
Probably would have voted me over the everything else.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, we've celebrated that. Okay. Well, we might have gone through everything. That might be all the sessions. All right, what do we got? What questions do you have? Anything I can be helping with right now?
What would you include in your newsletter? Just the market update?
So if it's just going to your neighborhood, you know, I would just put an average, what the home equity, or what the homes are worth in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right, I wouldn't give any specific one, I would just run an average, okay? This is ultimately what the home is worth, the market saying, I would give them any kind of data that's, you know, important, like, you know, local to that neighborhood, so you can go to Flex and get information about your neighborhood. I think if there's anything that's opened up close by, whether it's a park, a restaurant. or-
Publix is opening.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any information you got on that, any kind of events coming up in your area. Okay, can't just be real estate, you wanna have real estate in there. And then I would put your vendor list on it, or spotlight, do a vendor spotlight, don't put the whole thing on there. They're
Okay.
like, hey, here's my, plumbing and HVAC person. And here's what they do. And if you call them, if you need them and call them, get 5% off by mentioning my name, right? Something like that. Keep it simple. And not necessarily short, but concise so that they read it. Okay.
Okay. And then my contact info, of course.
Right, of course, your contact information. I think that's good. Anything else?
Anything.
All right. Well, look, let me know if you have any other questions. I appreciate you being